for doing this assignment. That way you have everything you need and you can work at your own pace. So if you scroll down to Friday, you can click on the on your own poetry analysis and open that up. It should open in Kami for you. All right, so what you're going to do is to attempt to analyze a poem of your choice. So I gave you a list of 4 poems, 1 poem from each of the people that we've taken a look at so far. The Road Not Taken by Robert Frost, Sonnet 29 by Shakespeare, Facelift by Sylvia Plath. She was the first person that we watched the video on yesterday. And then I Felt a Funeral in My Brain by Emily Dickinson. So you're not doing all 4 of them. You're choosing one that you would like to do after you kind of get the chance to skim over them and see which one seems interesting to you. Okay. When you're working with this poem, you're going to do your best to work through it line by line. If you need to read a summary of the poem before working with each line, meaning you need to use the internet to kind of see what it's about because it's a little confusing to you, you can do that. So what I'm going to go through after I scroll down through the directions here is how you can use the internet to help you get the answers and to help you learn some of the content that we're working on instead of just using the internet to get the answers. Okay, so as long as you're using your resources in the right way, I'm okay with you using them. So I copy and pasted here all the steps that you're going to go through on the poem, looking for all of these items. So you'll make predictions, you'll summarize and chunk it, you'll figure out who the speaker is. Then you're going to see if there's a rhyme scheme. Okay, if there's not one, you would simply write no rhyme scheme. You're going to look for alliteration, assonance, onomatopoeia, repetition, and consonants. Some will be in there, some will possibly not be. You'll look for the similes, the metaphors, personification, and imagery as well. And then finish up with mood and tone and the big picture. So if you keep scrolling, you'll see that the first one is The Road Not Taken, and it's a little bit spaced out just so that you can write and mark it up. Okay, it has a few stanzas, four stanzas. Then you have Sonnet 29 right here. It's 14-line poem by Shakespeare. And then you have Facelift by Sylvia Plath, also spaced out a little bit. And then if you keep scrolling, you have I Felt a Funeral in My Brain by Emily Dickinson too. Okay, so when you get a chance, you could scroll through, kind of quickly read maybe each of them, see which one you would want to take a deeper look at, and then you could focus on that poem only. Okay, once you decide whatever poem you're going to read, like I said, you can attempt to do it on your own and see how you do, because essentially on the test, that's what I'm going to ask you to do is do some of these items on your own. But if you get stuck, you can obviously ask for help from myself or Mrs. Romali. But in addition to that, you can use the internet, because I know if I don't say that you could use the internet, some of you are going to go out and search for what you would call the answers anyway. So ultimately, what I want you to do if you decide to use the internet is to use it to help you teach yourself the meanings of some of our vocabulary words. So if you're using Shakespeare's sonnet and you're looking for alliteration, and you go to Google and you type in alliteration examples in Sonnet 29 because you don't feel like looking for them, which isn't a very good reason, but you know, it happens. Okay, so right off the bat, I could find some answers right here. The alliteration in sings and hymns at heavens suggests a singing bird. There are 4 S sounds in the 3 words. Okay, first of all, you have to determine is this actually alliteration, because it's not necessarily coming from a reliable resource. Okay, our definition of alliteration is that The S sound has to happen for it to be alliteration at the beginning of the words, all of the words. Here, this isn't alliteration, but it is an example of consonants. So you kind of have to determine what is right and what is not. So this S sound, if we go back here, down here, from sullen earth sings hymns at heaven's gate. They want me to use this and they're telling me it's alliteration, but I've determined based on what I know about the vocabulary words, it's actually consonants. So I can mark that as consonants and state why. I'm still learning, even though I use the internet to find this example. First of all, I determined the internet's not always right. And then I determined what it was. So I'm still making sense out of the vocabulary words. I'm still technically learning something. If you just Google it, go on the internet, take the answer, mark it, and be done with it, yeah, you're not necessarily going to learn anything, but you will have the answers. Those answers aren't going to help you as you have to do and decipher some of these without internet resources. Does anybody have any questions so far? Okay, so like I said, first job is to determine which poem you want to work on, and you are working on them on your own. Then you're going to go through the list of 6 items and make sure that you're marking everything. It's going to take everyone a good amount of time to do this. When you're marking things, you're looking for all the examples you could possibly find. So in one poem, there might be 5 examples of alliteration and no similes. In another poem, there might be 3 similes and 2 onomatopoeias. You're not going to know that until you comb over it very carefully multiple times. All right, so you have the entire period to work on this. When you believe you are finished, you could submit it. If you would like help from myself or Mrs. Romali when she gets here, I can certainly point you in the right direction. If you are stuck or unsure if there is an example of something in a poem, just ask and I can confirm or deny that and possibly lead you to a specific stanza or line, and then you can kind of search for it from there. This is due, even though it says 11:59 on your assignment, it's due by the end of the day today so that you're working on it during the class period instead of waiting until 7 o'clock tonight to do that. I just didn't get a chance to change it yet in the assignment. If you finish early, you can work on any late work that you might owe me from this unit. A few people have zeros from the 7 Ages of Man assignment, or possibly the Nothing Gold Can Stay assignment. So you can always work on that kind of stuff as well. Okay. All right, online people, you guys are gonna stay online. Let me know through the chat if you need any help. And people here, you guys can get to work as well. Okay, I'll check in a little bit, see how we're doing, and then we can go from there.